Okay. Hello, my name is Cecil Osif. This is my presentation for the ADJ1 problem 1. The problem statement is what structure or OS structure should be considered when creating a probe that will go into space for hundreds of years and without any contact with humans or maintainability by humans. We are assuming that the probe will not be maintained and it will have a small storage of power, meaning it doesn't have a very large storage of power. And the probe will also have to be able to use multiple instruments during its journey. Requirements will be a structure with low power consumption, be able to use multiple instruments or user programs, and will be able to run for a long period of time, hundreds of years. And moving on from that, we have our analysis. Now we have 3 merits in our analysis: energy consumption, long-term reliability, and maintainability. Now those are listed in order of importance. Long-term energy consumption is of big importance because it dictates how long the probe will be running for. We got to make sure the energy consumption is low, or else the probe may die out because of low energy. Reliability, we have to make sure the structure will allow for the probe to run for a very long period of time, and be sure that it won't fail along the way. And maintainability, it isn't as important as the other two, but we have to make sure that the probe will be able to continue running and perhaps maintain itself, because there will be no human contact with it, and the probe will not be able to have maintenance or debugging or any sort of fixing on it at all. Our design. The design for it, we have 4 options, which are the 4 structures: simple structure, a layered structure, a microkernel, and modular. Now the simple structure isn't very good. It will consume large amount of unnecessary energy because it has multiple things connected to it, and it will be running all those user programs essentially at the same time. It's not very efficient too. And that comes to the long-term reliability. If one program were to fail, the whole system will fail and the probe will be rendered useless. Maintainability, it cannot maintain itself. You know, if something fails, the whole system fails, and the probe is gone. For a layered structure, it is a little better, but still consumes unnecessary energy. But the system will not fail if a program fails, which is okay, but not amazing. And it's easy to debug, but it will have no humans in contact with the probe. So even if there is a problem with anything, the probe will not be able to correct itself. Microkernel. The microkernel will only consume necessary energy because it only has necessary components. So it's very efficient with its energy consumption. If a program fails, it will continue running as normally, since it will ignore the failure. The system will not crash, it will not fail. It essentially is maintaining itself, so it could run for a very long period of time. Modular is very similar to microkernel, exactly, almost the same. It runs faster, so the energy consumption will be about the same as microkernel, meaning very low, very much what we're looking for. Problem being, it is very unsafe. We don't know what could happen to the probe, and modular is a very unpredictable thing, and we don't want that for a probe that will not be being maintained for hundreds of years. So that will lower its value. No, their justification from the analysis, we've seen that microkernel is the best decision for the probe. because it consumes little to no energy. Well, if it does, only necessary. Microkernel continues to work normally despite any failures, and is capable of maintaining itself without human interference. Overall summary of all this is that, the probe's power consumption is key to long-term functionality. The probe has to run reliably without shutting down, and the ADJ shows us that the microkernel is the best option. The module structure had a chance to perhaps be considered, but because it's so unsafe, we can't risk using it in this type of project.